Hey guys, welcome back to the show. I'm Dr. Nick Wilson with Dr. Traci Gross. During this episode, we talk about, are you movable?
When it comes to your health and what you believe about health, are you strong in that stance? Do you have a good philosophy?
Yeah, so we get into depth on that. I know you're going to enjoy this episode with Dr. Traci Gross and I about, are you movable? Well, great news if you've had COVID-19. It's likely you'll have antibodies for a lifetime. So this was from Nature, and you probably didn't see it because it did not make mainstream news, but it was on May 28th, published, 2021. Had COVID-19, question mark, you'll probably make antibodies for a lifetime. It says that people who recovered from mild COVID-19 have bone marrow cells that can churn out antibodies for decades. Interesting.
Decades. Okay, so what does that mean? Break down antibodies.
Okay, so you get exposed to something, right? Your body goes on defense mode, and it remembers that whatever that was, that pathogen, it remembers it so that your immune system can then attack it again in the future. So if you have antibodies, technically that should be, on some level, you're immune. That's what when they test the vaccine, as an example, they're testing antibodies. So when they're testing the effectiveness of the Moderna vaccine or the Pfizer vaccine, they're testing the antibody reaction to that.
So what it sounds like you're saying is if you've had COVID-19, then you have built up natural immunity.
Bingo. And that's, I think, part. Okay, so here's my question. You've had COVID-19. You now have immunity. They then still say that you should be vaccinated. Here's a question. Why don't they test antibodies before they administer the vaccine?
To see if you actually may need.
If you're immune, why do you need the vaccine?
Yeah.
But why are they not? So they say follow the science, really? That's what they say, follow the science. Well, wouldn't it be good science to test if you're already immune to the thing of which they're trying to artificially make you immune to? Right? Does that? I really don't understand. Why do you think they're not testing antibodies? Wouldn't that'd be good science? It sounds like good science.
Oh yeah. If we're following the science, if we're being logical about it, that makes so much sense. So this is the whole reason why it's so important to get curious and ask better questions. Because if we're going to be logical about that, like you said, that thought pathway, that makes so much sense. If you have the antibodies, you have natural immunity, you don't need anything else. So there's something else. There's another layer here. So Dr. Wilson, why do you think they don't test for antibodies?
Well, what I think might be maybe the minority opinion, but I'm going to tell you what I think.
Go for it. That's what we're here for.
All right. So listen, I think it creates another layer of complexity to their system of the one size fits all model of medicine. If then they say you test antibodies, there's going to be a certain percentage of the people who will have antibodies and then say no to the vaccine. So if they say no to the vaccine, then what happens is then there's a number of people who just don't end up getting the vaccine, and they know their stated goal is that 100% of the people would be vaccinated. They're not saying 100% of the people be immune to COVID. Their stated goal is 100% of the people be vaccinated. And so if it's more about the vaccine compliance than it is to create immunity, well then of course testing antibodies throws a wrench into their stated goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And listen, that might not be the popular opinion, but here's the reality is that if we are talking about real science right now, and you say we test antibodies and that person has the antibodies and we still want to vaccinate you, the problem with that is the thought pattern is there's no net harm to doing so. There's no net harm in giving you the vaccine if you have antibodies. It's just double protection, right? In their world, double the protection. Well, that's not actually the case.
Yeah, and the danger with that is that it's not actually double the protection, because anytime you have a medical intervention, there's always associated risk. So a lot of people will say, well, there's no harm in getting the vaccine regardless. But there really is. And that's why we have to ask these questions. That's why we have to do our own research and weigh what is the risk. And if I do have the antibodies, if I already have natural immunity, why am I taking that risk?
If there wasn't a risk, there wouldn't be an entire court system set up for the vaccine injured. Do you realize there's an entire court system? It was 1986 that shields drug companies, so protects the drug companies from any risk associated with the adverse event from a vaccine, including death.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a resource that you can access on your own. It's VAERS.com.
Well, Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System, that's VAERS. But there's a court system set up in 1986 that is shielding the drug companies from direct liability from vaccines. So here's a multi-trillion-dollar industry that has no risk of litigation whatsoever. And it's think about this. If you're a drug company and you're making drugs, there's a certain amount that you know is going to go back in litigation. It's going to go back into the court system, lawyers, attorney fees. You think about that separate from the vaccines. The vaccines don't have that. So they know their bread and butter is actually the vaccine. And so if there is no risk, then remove the shield, remove the liability, take away the court system. Let's bring it out into open court. It's a hidden court that no one gets to see. And yet if it's no risk, let's see the data.
Yeah.
Remove the liability, but they won't do it.
Yeah. If there was no risk, then they would be able to stand behind all of those cases, all of the different accounts. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is they're not really concerned about your health. It's more...
Bold statement. You're going to have to back that one up.
Think about how much target marketing has happened around the COVID-19 vaccine, has happened around COVID itself. Think about all of the messages that we're inundated with day in and day out. Do any of those messages at the heart of it actually get to this is how you support your body and how you are truly healthy?
Even giving away millions of dollars, getting put into a lottery for millions of dollars if you've been vaccinated, right? Giving away donuts if you've been vaccinated, if you can show proof of it.
Yeah, all of these things are to play on the emotions, whatever makes you feel good at the time.
I mean, just think about that. Why has there ever been anything like this before? Not in my lifetime, where it's such a full-on blitz effort from the media, from the government, just from everyone. And hey, let's incentivize the crap out of people to go get the vaccine.
Yeah.
And you were telling me about the campaign, the whole campaign.
Oh yeah, they don't hide it from you at all. This is pulled directly from the website of the Health and Human Services Department. This campaign is an effort to get as many people as possible to get the COVID-19 vaccine. Once again, not because it's to support your health, but because they want to make sure that everyone is buying into this manufactured one-size-fits-all medicine. Now, we have the basic prevention measures, which they call masking, social distancing, all of the games that we've been playing for the past year, right? Mm-hmm. But this campaign specifically talks about their target market, not necessarily being the people who are already sold out to medicine, the people who operate in the realm of what we would call allopathic medicine, but also not the people who are on the other side, who are more of the naturopathic mind. But it's the 90% in the middle who are not black or white, who are operating somewhere in that in between. And they call this target market the movable middle. And that terminology immediately grates against me and my core being, because I don't believe that anybody should be considered movable when it comes to their belief on their health.
It's like shakeable. Like these are the influential, like the ones that could be influenced.
Exactly. To me, my mind says that's that's taking advantage of people who don't have the information that they need to make the best decision for their health. Rather than educate, we're trying to manipulate. And that does not sit well with me. I would not be able to sleep well at night if that was my job, if that was my strategy for living.
When you use that word manipulate, and some people would say, what do you mean? They're trying to do their best to get everyone vaccinated so that we can all be protected, so that we can all get back to normal. Well, if it's not manipulation, well, then what is it? Because they're hiding the other side of the story from you.
Right.
You're not being told about these adverse events, these over 4,000 adverse events as of today that have happened, and the hundreds of people, if not thousands at this point, who have now unfortunately died after getting the vaccine. They're not even tying it to that. I have many nurses who I speak to on a regular basis, one of which is head of hospital. And she said that there have been so many young people who have come in to the hospital and in the emergency room between 7 and 10 days after receiving the vaccine, having heart problems, unexplainable heart problems, never have had heart problems in their past. And you can't explain it. In fact, doctors are starting to question it. Like, is this the vaccine? Because they're getting flooded with these types of people. And those doctors who are questioning it are now risking losing their license, getting removed from the hospital. And that's what they're worried about. That's not why they're not speaking up, because they're seeing their other colleagues speak up and they're seeing their board come after them hard. They've already set the precedent. You post something on social media, you get blacklisted, you get shadow banned, you get taken off of social media for a period of time. There's the social media algorithm, the Facebook algorithm that got revealed because of a whistleblower inside Facebook came out and said, hey, we are intentionally, with our algorithms, making sure that you don't see posts that would be considered anti-vaccine or would be not helping in the promotion of everyone getting vaccinated. And guess what? That guy got fired.
Oh, yeah. Easy, I'm sure. The thing about it is what it comes down to is it's not necessarily who's right and who's wrong. It's the access to information. It's your rights being taken away from you to know the facts, to make the best decision for yourself. Whether you choose to get vaccinated or not, that's your personal decision. I can't tell you what to do or what not to do, but I believe that you deserve the right to the information.
I'm just looking at this campaign strategy here. This is ridiculous. So their whole idea of reaching the movable middle. Here's a question for you. Are you a part of the movable middle? Are you the ones who are able to be influenced? So are you the ones who are able to be manipulated? Because they're coming after you with trillions of dollars of marketing with campaigns that are meant and designed to target you. So their campaign strategy, it says building vaccine confidence. So targeting the movable middle by educating those who are hesitant about COVID-19 vaccines so they are ready to get the vaccine when it is their turn. So it's been your turn, and if you're hesitant, they're coming after you, and they're going to come after you hard. And so the question is, are you a part of that movable middle, or have you made a decision yet?
Yeah. And these campaign strategies, I can't help but laugh because it's literally everything that has been happening over the past year. Like, it's not new. They're trying to build vaccine confidence. They're preparing the nation. They're slowing the spread. That terminology, slowing the spread, that's been a buzzword for the past however long, 400 days. But it's not done anything. Like, COVID is still out there.
They've kind of given up on that, I think. I thought they did. I thought that was gone. Like, it will slow the spread with the masks. Well, social distancing and masks clearly did not slow any spread of anything. So actually, let's just tag that onto the vaccine now.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll forget about that 400 days later.
Yeah.
Because these movable middle people, they're just stupid. I mean, they got to think that they're stupid at this point.
Yeah.
They got to think that they're just not paying attention, or they just don't know, or they didn't see the Fauci emails that are leaked, that he even admitted that the masks do nothing, the ones you buy from the grocery store. They just have to think that you've got to just be head in the sand and just following whatever the media or the CDC says.
Yeah. The thing that maybe they haven't caught on to yet, though, is that the people in the movable middle are not stupid. They can smell the cell.
I hope they can. Listen, I hope they can sniff it out. And I'm meeting more and more people who are now raising questions and asking like, hey, wait a second. If I've already had COVID, I know for sure I had COVID, lost my taste and smell, the whole deal. It was bad. It sucked, but at least I had it. Why are they telling me that I have to get it now? I have it. They're telling me I'm not going to have antibodies for this one. Why is this one different from every other virus that has ever existed?
So if you can smell the cell, if you are asking questions, you have full permission. No one needs to give you permission, but here I am giving you permission to say no. Like, just because people are telling you that you have to do this, you have to get this vaccine, that doesn't mean that you have to do it. You can say no, and there are ways that you can stand up for your rights.
And whether you say yes or no, it's up to you. But whether you say yes or no, you should have all the data in front of you. And that's really our point, is
Exactly.
that you should have all the access to information that would help you make that decision. Like the information about what are the long-term effects? How does this affect carcinogenic or mutagenic effects within my body? How does this affect fertility? What are the long-term longitudinal effects of this 10, 20 years from now? Especially if you are a younger person, under the age of 70, you should very much so care about an experimental gene therapy that goes into your body. You should consider what the long-term implications of what that might be. They say, follow the science, trust the science. There's none out there. Ask the questions when it comes to the long-term effects on your body when it comes to this one.
Right. So we're not selling anything.
We aren't. And so this actually does us net harm whenever we talk about this subject. Always. I'm going to get the hate emails. I'm going to get the reviews. Listen, we don't get new patients because talking about this. Because someone said, oh, they're just in it for the money. Are you freaking kidding me? This hurts us. Like if we're in this for the money, we are making all of the wrong decisions constantly.
Yeah.
When it comes to what we choose to talk about.
But what it comes down to is, like, we believe that you deserve to know the truth. And when you're making decisions about your health, it's all based upon your fundamental philosophy, what you believe about health.
Well, and you said the word philosophy. And here, this is the point. Are you following marketing or are you following your philosophy when it comes to your health? And the question is, do you have a strong philosophy when it comes to your health and the decisions that you make for your health? I want to give you an example. You take a fish. Picture two separate fish bowls. One of the fish bowl is muddy, murky, dark water, and the other fish bowl is nice and clean water, blue water, right? Would you ever look at the fish in the murky, dark waters, and you look at that fish and you say, well, he's struggling. He's not swimming as fast. He seems to not be as hungry as the other fish, not as vibrant. Would you ever look at that fish and say, you know what we need to do? We need to dump some medicine in that fish bowl, right? I have an idea. Let's take the fish out for a few minutes. Let's vaccinate him against dirty water and put him right back into the water. Would you ever think that?
No.
Of course not. So why on earth do we look at the human population and we look at it in a way, it's like, hey, it's not the environment, it's you. Meaning like, hey, let's artificially do something, drug you, treat you, cover up the symptoms of this thing, artificially immunize you, and put you right back into the same environment that caused it.
That mentality kills me, because that's not only false messaging, but that's also telling that person something about their body, telling them something about who they are. Like it's communicating that you're broken, that you're deficient, that you need to be fixed, and you're the reason why you're sick. And that is not the truth at all. Our bodies are created perfectly. We were designed to be healthy. We need to clean up our environment.
Well, and you can't heal in the environment that made you sick.
Exactly.
You can't heal in that environment. And so we talk about environment, and we're not talking about pollution and smog and the industry offshoots of the toxic waste that's in our air and in our waters. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the environment that you create with the decisions that you make, the habits that you form throughout the course of your lifetime. what you had for breakfast, as an example. It's the environment, this internal ecosystem that is within you right now that you've created and I've created and we've all created with the foods that we eat, the drugs that we take, the household cleaners that we use, the toxic thoughts that we have, our ergonomics throughout the course of our day, the whether we exercise or don't exercise. This is the internal environment that we all have, this ecosystem within us that is either toxic in producing life and vibrancy, or it's not that. Right. And so
producing sickness and disease.
And ultimately, it doesn't allow your body to function and heal at its absolute best. It's the decisions that we make over the course of a lifetime. But guess what? That does not sell. Right. There's no multi-billion-dollar industry behind you making healthy decisions.
Right. Here's the good news, though.
I love how you always bring the good news.
That's what I'm here for. The good news is that all of those things that you listed are completely within our control. The food that we eat, the chemicals that we put, products that we use in our bodies, the way we move, the way we exercise, even our sleep, our thoughts, all of those things we have control over. So we get to choose if we want to be healthy. Isn't that great news?
I think that's great news. Even going outside. Just think about this. Going outside, being in the sun, the frequencies of the sun, being near water, the ions within the water, the minerals from the water. You just think about putting your bare feet on the ground. Man, I'm sounding like a hippie. I realize that. Hugging a tree, why don't I just go right into it? But the reality is being in nature, one with nature, is healthy. Being out there, and it also makes you make healthy decisions. When you're out there sweating your tail off in the sun, guess what? You don't really care to drink. You don't care to drink like toxic Coke, soda or something like that, right? Some people do. Some people are like, give me a beer, right? Get out there for longer. Go exercise. Run 5 miles. You don't come back craving a beer, right? You actually want water, hydrating water. So making the right decisions helps you to make better decisions the next time. And it's just simple things, but health is actually simple. Disease is complicated. Disease is complicated because now you have to navigate that and you have to make decisions based off of that. But actually making healthy decisions and building health over time is actually simple, yet it's hard because sugar tastes better than fruit. The apple or the donut actually does taste better than the apple. Like, let's just be real here. So it's
otherwise they'd give out apples for vaccines.
Yeah, they don't do that. That doesn't entice them. It's pizza and donuts and Girl Scout cookies, right? Yeah, if they gave out broccoli, like, hey, come get your vaccine, we'll give you a stalk of broccoli. Yeah, no one's doing that. Yeah, the people who would do that are not the ones who are getting vaccinated. Let's just be real.
Yes. Point is sugar cells.
So if you think about that, yes, it's a hard decision now, but it's an easier life later. So it's the hard, easy idea. So it might be harder now to choose like the apple or the kale or the broccoli or choose just healthy grass-fed meat. Listen, you don't have to be a vegetarian or vegan to be healthy. You really don't. And it might be a harder decision now, but it's an easier life in the future. And it's not the far distant future. I'm talking about within a few months, your life becomes easier. You become more vibrant. You have more energy. It might be hard to take care of your spine and nervous system right now. You might have to do some things intentionally, intentional movement, getting adjusted, making sure your spine is in good alignment. But that's an easier life in the near future. You're not living a life of pain or dysfunction or not being able to do the things you want to be able to do. It's the hard, easy. And it might be easier now to choose that donut, or it might be easier to just go with what is the most convenient and listen to the media and do whatever the CDC says or whatever CNN says. But my question to you, is that going to be the easier life down the road by not asking the hard questions right now, by not getting curious, by not exploring right now? Is that an easier life for you 3, 5, 10 years from now? Or is it a life of more of the same, what the typical American is experiencing right now, which is a shorter lifespan, more medications? The average person is filling 12 medications every single year. We look at what the United States ranks out of all the industrialized countries. We continue to rank dead last for health. Healthy longevity is the lowest. So we continue to suffer longer with more and more chronic sickness. We have more obesity. We have more Alzheimer's. We have more cancer. We have more heart disease. And so if we live like the rest of Americans, we can expect to get what most Americans are getting, which is a sick and unhealthy life.
Right. And making that decision, whether you choose to make the hard decision now or the hard decision later, which in my opinion is to be sick. I think it's way harder to be sick than it is to be healthy. But that decision is all based on your health philosophy.
It all comes down to that. So is it that fish bowl, that fish in the bowl? Is it to take the fish out and vaccinate the fish and put it right back into the dirty water? Or is it to clean up the water, clean up how you experience life? Is it to maybe just introduce new healthy behaviors over the course of your lifetime? And listen, this does not have to be complicated. What are some of the easy things that you can do right now that are just lateral moves? And what do I mean by a lateral move? It's a simple take your soda and drink something different than soda.
Yeah.
Let's say water with lemon, and if you need it fuzzy water with lemon, or you need Zevia with, that stuff is sweetened with stevia, make that lateral move. That's an easy decision to make. You don't have to go from, going through the drive-thrus every day to going vegan. That's not what you and I are saying. We're saying make lateral moves, but do it now, because tomorrow never comes.
Yeah.
Exactly. That whole idea of that, it's that law of diminishing intentions. Your intentions are good today. I have the intentions of being healthy today, yet, I just have this party coming up, so I'll do it after the party. Or I have this vacation coming up, so I'll do it after the vacation. And it's this law of diminishing intentions where I have all the right intentions today, and I will do it tomorrow, but tomorrow never comes.
Mm-hmm. And one of the best ways to ensure your success when you are making changes with your health is to have someone else to help keep you accountable.
That's right.
Whether that's a friend or a neighbor or a family member, or maybe you come see a professional, you get your spine and nervous system checked, and you have someone to guide you along that pathway. Mm-hmm. Either way, that's going to increase your chances of getting to where you want to go.
Yeah, and that's the whole idea. The reason why we do what we do is because we've seen the difference with helping that person, helping them to get to their health goals, reach their health goals, because sometimes you need a helping hand.
Right.
Sometimes you need a guide to help you.
The hardest part is starting, knowing where to start.
That's right. Mm-hmm. So whether it's changing from Coke to water, or whether it's changing out your breakfast from pastries to a healthy protein shake, or whether even just an apple, or whether it is you starting to move just a little bit more than you did the day before, or whether it is, hey, you're hurting, you're in pain, and you've been on medications, you've been masking your symptoms, and you know that that's a dead end road, and you're ready to not mask your symptoms anymore. And you want to take a more active approach with your health, getting to the cause of your problems. Regardless, take that next step, because that's what it takes. That's what it takes, is that next step, just one baby step, one foot in front of the other. And then you get to however many months or years from now, and you look back and you look from where you've came from, and you're much further along than you ever expected. Mm-hmm. You can do more. People underestimate what they can do in 10 years. They overestimate what they're going to be able to do in 1 year, but they underestimate what they're going to be able to do in 10. And I talk to older adults sometimes, and they'll say things like, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive in 10 years. And here they are in their 70s. Have a vision for your life. What are you going to be doing in 10 years? What do you look like in 10 years? Picture yourself. If you can't picture yourself, if you would have asked yourself when you were 30, what is the next 10 years? You would have had an answer. You wouldn't have said, I don't even know if I'm going to be alive. Let's set the bar higher. What are you going to be doing in 10 years? Not if you're going to be alive. What are you going to be doing? What do you look like? What is your conversations? What are your conversations like? Who are you around? Mm-hmm. Like, set the bar higher, have a vision for your life, and then take those baby steps to get there day by day.
Yeah, there is so much hope and so much healing on the other side of this very simple decision.